Hey campers, Georgia, back in the man cave. I'm freezing. I went outside to, thought about getting all my ice fishing stuff together and getting everything sorted out, and I wanted to pull out my flip out from the shed. I didn't even make it to the shed, I got so cold. I'm still trying to get warm. Anywho, I found me 3 knives. Yep, they're all Scout knives. Yeah. All of them. They all say Scout. 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 Ha! They all look kind of sort of similar. Let's check them out. So you know me. If I find a knife and I think, that's unusual, I get it. Well, these ones came from, I think, a couple of places. I know one of them came from Brandon. He's one of his first mail calls. Maybe even 2 of them. And I think I broke the budget getting this one. $10. Woot! Anywho, let's check him out. I looked him up because some of them I wasn't sure about. And now I'm even more confused. So we'll go through them quickly. They all need a clean up. They've got to go into my Scout collection because they're kind of cool. Everyone's a little unique. So the first one here we're looking at is this guy. See that? It has that black jig bone look. They all do. This one has a bail on it which got crushed. And the odd thing about this guy is the bolsters. Yep, tip bolsters. Toenail style. And of course, it says right there, Scout knife. Sorry, I just got an alert. So it shuts off the video, pops up the alert. Phone lines are down for all the emergency numbers in the county and other counties. Yeah. Anywho, this guy. You can see there it says Scout knife. Now, none of these, I believe, are official knives. They just have the Scout knife. And they're all kind of different. 2 of them are 3-blade and 1 is a 4-blade. This one is a 3-blade. And you can see it there. You've got your flat screwdriver, cap lifter, bottle opener, and of course that cool style can opener, and then the blade. Now on this one, I believe the blade had a little bit more belly on it, that sort of thing, nothing unusual there. It's been sharpened, used, pretty beat up. Now this guy is one I've seen before, and I kind of sort of looked them up and I couldn't remember, and it is Fairmount, and they're out of, it's Fairmount Cutlery Co. out of New York City. And if you look here, you can just see the tank stamp there. Let me see if I can get you a better. You can just see the tank stamp there. Pretty cool. A very plain, simple 3-blade Scout. Pretty old. Now, Fairmount knives were around in like the 1920s, 1930s, that era. And yeah, Camillus had a lot to do with it. I don't know if it was a Camillus company or they just did the contract work for them. But this guy, made by Camillus. Now, they do say that Ulster also made them, so maybe it wasn't part of Camillus or contract. So the unusual thing about it was, of course, the tang stamp wasn't very common. Really popular the 30s to 40s. They were at their peak. And they made a bunch, and they were very distinct with the equal end jack shape. The knives, 2-blade jacks, that sort of thing, had the equal end. This one was really hard for me to find because looking online, everything I saw didn't have the little tip bolsters on it. So what do? But I came up close and I got the error of the company, so we're in that range. So it's an oldie but goldie. And as you can see, it's pretty patinaed. The blade is a little flattened out, like I said, and it should have actually on the front here, it's more curved down, and it had the swedge on it. You can just see a little bit left of it there where that false blade. You need to just clean it up, make it shiny, sharpen it, and add it to the Scout knife collection, right? Like I said, not official. They just labeled them. It wasn't a true Boy Scout or Girl Scout knife. The other one is this guy here. And, you know, look at that. Very similar look to it, the handle and the badges. So, yep, if you're thinking had Camillus or those guys had something to do with it, yeah, they did. This one is Cornwall Knife Co., New York City, and you can see it there. Didn't know who they were, looked them up, and this guy has 4 tools on it. Your typical, more traditional Boy Scout guy. Yeah, you can see it here. Very cool. Has a nice blade. Look, the shape is pretty good. It's still got its belly. You got your bottle opener, flat screwdriver, your can opener, that unusual shape again, and of course this one has an awl. So very cool. It has a bail on it. The information I found about is 1930s, made by Camillus, you know what I mean. I'm not sure if it was a contract thing. From what I read, they kind of said it was a Camillus company. The badge again, if you look at it there, it's basically the same thing as this guy. Very typical, really good condition. The blades and everything, very nice. This one should clean up to be a real beauty. And, you know, the 1940s, 1950s era. About the same time as the other one. This one here is a little different. You can see it here. Why? Because I actually had to pay for this one. The horror. It says $10, but I think I got it with a couple of other knives, and I probably paid about $8 for it. And you can see it there. And of course, it says Scout on it. Now this guy is a 3-blade, and you can see them here. Maybe a little better that way. And you know, it has the blade. Now you can see this blade is pretty flat. It's been flattened when it was sharpened. Not as much as you would think. It's actually more the front than the back. It was more straighter across here. You can see how the blade is thinning down, and this is sharp. And it has the swedge on it there. And the nail neck is your half moon or crescent or whatever you want to call it. Whereas the other ones, I think, with a long pull on it. And it has the bottle opener, your flat screwdriver, and it has the unusual, the very cool can opener. Has, you know, that weird look to it. And it had a bail, which is missing, and hopefully we can figure out a bail for it. If you look at it, if you look at the blade, it's actually not level, it's actually further back. Look how deep. Yeah, there you go. You can see how deep it's dropped. So either the spring or the tang is really worn, but it's still in pretty good condition, and we can clean this guy up. And who is it, you ask? Well, these guys, IKCO. And yep, Imperial Knife Company. And I believe this one is called a Junior Scout. And it has the black jig bone, you know, just like the other ones. It does have the full bolsters, your normal bolsters with the line on it, that sort of thing. Very cool knife. Got to find the bail for it. Might be a little hard. We might have to make one. We'll see how that goes. Well, now, IKCO, Imperial Knife Company, I believe the tang stamp on this one, and if you look, it's actually in that rectangle leaning over. See that? Here it is here. And from what I read, they said that tang stamped 1920s, 1930s. So another old one. It is an original Imperial, way back. So we got these three that we need to clean up. We'll do a quick cleanup on them. None of them are really rusty. You don't have to dip anything. I'm just going to go through and clean them. I'll show you some highlights from that. Let's see if we can put a bail on this one. We'll check them out, make them shiny, and then let's sharpen them again. So here you have them. Look at that. 3 Scouts. Notice that all the badges are very similar. These two are basically the same. The shape on this one is the same except that it's rounded there, and that's the IKCO one. These ones, Camillus, Utica, Ulster, who knows? Probably Camillus, but this is Imperial from way back. So, let's clean them up. Okay, we've got our 3 little Scouts here, and like I said, I'll just go through all 3 of them. I'll show you bits and pieces as I go through, and I'll show you the end result. And typically, if you haven't seen me do it before, I step through sandpaper all the way up to 10,000, and then I will use a polishing, mothers typically, and that's it. Then we sharpen them. So I'll just go through the highlights. These are not very bad at all. They shouldn't take much. So here we go. So this guy's in pretty good shape. I'm just going to touch it up with 2,000 and see how we do, and then we'll go to 10,000 on it, on these blades. They're not very bad. Some 2,000 here. Let's get them clean. So there you are, that's 10,000. Cleaned up nicely. It didn't take a lot. You can see nice and shiny, as all knives should be. And you can see the scout knife there. And of course inside, it's got to be shiny. So we'll put this one aside. We'll do the other ones. And then we'll polish them all. Let's do this one now. Now looking at this one, I was just checking to see how these springs are very weak. This is, the tang and the spring is worn. But it still has something on it. Kinda. But the main thing I'm worried about is that. It's got some wobble there. See that? I'm just going to tap on the pins quickly and let's see if we can tighten it up. And there we are. A lot better. Still no snap though. So this guy is a 3-blade and there's just a lot of patina on it. Obviously this is worn down, but in general they're in very good shape. Very little rust. And should just take a quick clean up like the one before. So here we go. 2000. Oop, need a new piece. And we're back at the races, so there we go. Oh, and this is the Fairmount. Sorry, should have told you that, right? And it has that long nail pull on it, which, by the way, I thought was a modern thing, but apparently not. That unusual opener. The boss just stopped by again to inspect. Checking up on me is what she's doing. Here is the Fairmount at 10,000. Oh, I didn't do the bail. I'll do that right now. Shine up nicely. I kind of like these unusual ones. They're made by well-known companies, just under a different name. They're not your normal Camillus or Ulster, those guys that make these. They're top quality, but they're making these, I suspect, under contract. I'm not really sure, but they are nice. I like them. I really like these knives. Nice little scouts. And now we have this guy. Gonna need a little bit of work. This is the Ikeiko Imperial 4-blade. Has that unusual can opener. Oh, I'm sorry, 3-blade. What was I thinking? But one thing I will say is that you can see how the blade sits at an angle like that. I've seen that before, and I don't know if it's because the spring has worn, and I can't really tell. Oh, yeah, it has. It's got some wear on there. And you can see how far it drops. You can see there. See that? To take, you can take it apart and maybe, I don't know, find another spring that'll match or fill something in. I'm not sure. But we'll clean it up and we're going to have to make a bail of some sorts for it, because it came with a bell, so it has to leave with a bell, right? Let's get it clean and shiny, see if we can come up with a bail for it. So here is the Imperial, the Ikeiko, at 10,000. Shown up pretty good, better than I thought it would. This knife was probably the most beat up. There's a lot of nicks and hits and bumps on it. It's a pretty old knife. Been well used, so see if we can make a bail for it. Not sure how I can do that. But nothing succeeds like persistence. And I want to show you something. If you look in that hole, can you see? The hole here, right here, is straight through. And if you look carefully, there's actually a round pin which is holding the can opener, which I thought was interesting. It's not a solid pin, so you can actually put the bail on in the same place. So I have this piece of wire, and it's actually, if you've seen me doing leather work, it's the little brush that comes with the leather dye that I use. And I'm using the handle of an old one. Why? It happens to fit really well in those holes, just like that. So let's bend it up into a decent shape. How do we do that? Good question. I want to find something that is round, but as wide as that. How about that? That might work. I'm going to wrap it around this handle. All I'm going to do is put it in the vise and bend it. So I landed up actually using this part of the handle on my other screwdriver because it was just slightly smaller, which I think gave it a better fit. So now I've got to bend them in to match the hole. Now it's a little tight in the hole, but it'll work. It's not going to flop around, but it'll do its job. You can see it there. Actually, that worked out better than I thought it would. Now we got to polish everything because they're all at 10,000. And I'm going to polish them with mothers, and then we're going to sharpen the blades. So I've got some mothers which I'm running out of. I'm going to have to get some. You can get it just about anywhere. There'll be links below for any of the stuff that I used. And if you want to find it, you'll know what to look for and you can shop around. So what we're going to do is go through and polish the whole thing. Now, I even do the handles, but when you start using things like a polish, things get warm very quickly. So be careful with this type of handle. You rub too fast and too long, it begins to melt, okay? And the steel you're pulling off from here gets into the handle because it'll sink in because it gets soft. Be aware of that, especially if it's not so bad on this, but on a light colored handle, you'll see the dark dust stuck in the handle. So don't be in a hurry, take your time. And on the blades as well, you just have to rub a little bit. You don't have to rub hard. You'll even, if you feel the blade, it'll get warm. A couple of dabs and just lightly rub. The nice thing about polish is it blends everything in. It really smooths out the shine. You won't get any like highlights or lowlights. It evens it out and just makes it look a lot better. And of course, if you're going to be using these for food prep and you polish like this, you need to wash off the polish, the residual polish, because you don't want that in your foods. Not good at all. Even better, don't polish. That's if you're going to use it for food prep, that sort of thing. If you're like me and you whittle and whatever, there's no problem there. That's what you're going to use it for. But if you're going to be cutting your food or anything like that, fruit or anything that you're eating, you don't want polish on it. And you can see how much it takes off. Now it does leave a residue, so you're going to need to wipe that off. See there? And you can see how it smooths out the shine. It's very consistent. I'm going to go through and do the whole thing on all of them, and I'll show you the end result. So there is the Cornwall, and you can see how it picks up the shine wonderfully when you polish. See how consistent it is there. So that was the Cornwall. This is the Ikeko. Cleaned up better than I thought it would. This guy was pretty beat up. A lot of bumps and nicks and scratches on it. And this is the Fairmount. And this is a nice knife. I like this one. It got some nice shine to it. This one I think is my favorite though. It's a really nice knife, 4-blade Scout. So they're all shiny now. Let's make them sharp. This is the Zarlik system. And I have 2 workshop systems. I have the bench top, which allows you to rock the stone when you do it. So as you use a curved surface, it'll follow it, gives it a nice even ground. I was given this, which is the field sharpener from workshop as well. I like this, really handy for small stuff and carrying around and just touching up blades when you're not at home. You're out camping or whatever, has a real advantage to that. This system, the main advantage is you can choose the angle you want to sharpen at, whereas these ones are typically predetermined, and they'll be like 20 or 17 or something like that, and I'll have a guide for it. The only other advantage on these ones is they have ceramic rods. All of them I strop when I'm done, just because. So the Zarlik system is pretty straightforward. I'm going to start with 320, but before I do that, this is a diamond stone. They don't recommend putting oil on it. They say you don't need to, but you're going to get a buildup in there. So what I do is I just use an eraser and rub it. I'll show you. Just a regular eraser. And all you're going to do is just run over it like that. And it'll pull off any of the buildup. You can see it's shinier already. Personally, if I need to clean up a blade really badly, I'll go with 320 and then I go to 800 and then I strop. And I find that to be more than enough for my sharpness. For other people, you might want to go to a higher grit with like 2000. So there we are. Now the setup. I've had a lot of questions on this regarding finding the angles and that sort of thing. you need an angle finder. This is an electronic one from Klein. Turn it on. It magnetizes on the one side. And you can see right now it's saying that my bench is 0.6. I can zero it. And we're good there, but we want to know the angle here. The blade sits in there. I'm going to start with this guy. And let me set it up. I'll put it in here. You just use the clamps. I have the knife on here, and I'm going to go with 320. These guys need a good cleanup. And it's spring loaded, so you can load the spring, holds everything together. So on the spring and release it. So I have 320 here. Now the question I get asked is, how do you find the angle to the blade? On the system, Zolik says, you can see I'm at 0 here, or pretty close to it. They're saying that the angle of this blade is the angle of this area here. Okay, and look at that. It's 10 degrees already, okay? Which means the blade is sitting at 10 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zero this plate. There we go. So now 0 here is 0 on my blade. I can put the sharpening plate on, put this on here, and go to the angle I want. And I'm going to say 20. Okay, and I can lock that in. Now, blade is at 0, this is at 20. So I have an overall angle of 40, but 20 on this side, 20 on that side. And now I'm just going to clean it up. Before I do that, I like to mark my blade just with a regular marker. Put a line on it, so that when I go back and forth here, I can make sure that the grind I'm getting, you want it to be even. So I'm just going to start here. Now, some people do this. I prefer to just do one sweep like this. And as I'm sweeping here, I can see I'm taking off that black mark, and it's showing me where I am on the blade. So I'm just going to do that. You can see at the end here, you don't want to let this twist over. You want to just halfway lift it up. You do that until you feel you have a good one here, and you can feel the peel all the way over on the other side. I can feel it here, I can't feel it there. You don't have to press hard, by the way. I'm just going to work it until I get that consistent peel on this side. I've got a nice fine edge there, and I can feel that peel all the way along. Pull on this, flip it over, and just repeat the other side. You're going to get the peel off here, and you're looking for the peel that side. Now this is 320. I'm basically shaping the edge for you. I mean, it's giving me a knife's edge, but I want to clean it up, so I'm going to go to a higher grit to make it a nice clean cut. So now I can feel the peel on the other side now. Now I'm going to go to a higher grit to clean it up. Loosen that off. I'm going to go to 800. I find that to be more than enough. And I'm going to repeat that same process again. You can hear the difference. I've got a good peel there, so I'm going to flip it over and get rid of that peel. I feel this. It's it's got a good edge on it, but I'm just going to go a couple of more times. I can feel a bit of an edge there, but now I'm going to strop. So I'm just going to strop it a couple of times just to clean that edge off. And you can feel it when you strop. And you'll see little pieces of your paste sticking to the blade, but eventually they'll go away. I'm going to do the other side. You see there? Clean it off. Oops. And let's see how we do. Nice clean edge. Going to repeat it on all of them. Now I wanted to show you the peel I'm talking about. On this, maybe we can catch it on this. There's a little bit there. And we just want to get rid of it. If you look carefully, there's some shiny spots right along that blade. That's the peel. And when you strop, you get rid of it. You're basically flopping it back and forth until it falls off. Can't feel any peel. Let's see how he did. Oh yeah. Nice. Let this go. Let's see. Nice. The Fairmount. So there you go, campers. I am just putting some oil in here. I use a mineral oil. It's food safe, vegetable oil, something like that. And I just put it right there on the bolsters, let it sink in, and then move the blades back and forth. When you've been polishing and sanding, the dust gets in there. And by putting oil in there, not only is it good protection for the blades and everything, it'll also pull all that stuff out, that build-up. And you just work it back and forth a little bit and you'll see it pop out and just wipe it off. You want to do that each side here. Careful, this blade is now sharp. And you have a nice clean knife. This is the Ikeko, right? You can still see that curve there, not very good. The snap on these is still pretty good. Just the blade, it's got a half stop. It's a lot better than it was. That little bit of oil will help as well. And of course it preserves, it stops rust and that sort of thing. I did these guys as well. This one is the Fairmount, I believe, yeah. You can see they clean up wonderfully. Wonderfully. Nice knives. Nice scouts. They're all scouts. They're not official. The Fairmount. Very nice. And then this one, which is the... Can't remember. Come on, remind me. Cornwall. There you go. Cleaned up very nice. This was a nice knife. It was pretty shiny and pretty well taken care of before. You can see in there. And of course I oiled it and gave it a little bit of a brisk movement. You can see there the oil and your main blade. Very cool. Very cool. Scout knives. 3 very nice additions. Look at that. Don't they all look like they should be together? The handles are pretty close. You can tell who made which one. Just by the look of the jigging on the handle will give you a clue. And of course, your shields tell you as well. Very cool. Nice little project to add to my scout knives. Woot! You all be safe out there. Especially when you've been cleaning these guys up and, you know, you're then oiling them and moving things around. Just remember, you just made your blade nice and sharp. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back. Like I said, I've got 1.5 tons of projects. I am going to be going away for 10 days to San Diego. I'm going to spend 10 wonderful days in warm San Diego with my children, my 2 girls. Miss them. It's an opportunity for me to just hang out with them and spend some time with them, some prime time. It's always a good time. They make me laugh a lot. So there you go. I will try to get ahead on my videos so that you have something to watch while I'm out there. I'm thinking about taking some knives, picking some knives, taking them to San Diego with me, and just making some shorts in San Diego and post them. You'll see that. I'll also post some pictures so you can see what's going on. Just say. But that'll be, I leave next week, I believe Friday. So got a couple of things to do before then. Just say. Thanks for watching. Always, always appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.